Hello out there and happy holidays to everybody at Stu Leonard's. My name is Tim Heisler, your American Whiskey Ambassador for Beam Suntory. It's nice to be back. This is our second edition of these little virtual series we've done for these holiday gift sets that you're picking up. We very do much appreciate it. If you tuned into the last one, then it means you're already a professional on all things bourbon whiskey. We appreciate it. If you tuned into the last one, you might also be wondering why I'm not coming to you from our beautiful New York City headquarters and bar. Well, my phone decided to delete that video. So now you're stuck with me coming to you pre-recorded from a beautiful hotel room in Orlando, Florida. And the manager was nice enough to give me some bottles from their bar to showcase some of the bottles that you have at home with you, which is great. So we always got to start with the name on our first warehouse, and that is Jim Beam, right? The world's #1 selling bourbon. The lineage and timeline of the Beam family goes back to 1795, 7 generations of master distillers, soon to be 8 generations of master distillers once that, those keys are handed over to Freddie Jr. But I mean, 4 years old, 80 proof. If you haven't had Jim Beam White before, not sure what you've been doing with yourself, but welcome to the club. You also have a little taster of a Jim Beam Apple, which is our Kentucky straight bourbon infused with natural flavors. For me personally, I love taking those flavored whiskeys, put them in the fridge, put them in the freezer. I like them chilled. I like them cold. I like having a little nip of them. Super refreshing. But Beam White, again, this is the name on the doors. If you come down to our distillery, which is in Claremont, Kentucky, this will be the first name that you see. Jim was the one that got us through Prohibition. He's the one that got our distillery back up and running. And if you get a full-size bottle, you can see all 7 generations of our master distillers right there printed on the side. And there's our 6th generation master distiller. His name was Booker No, who created our small batch collection. Now, our small batch collection consisted of Booker's Bourbon, Baker's Bourbon, Knob Creek Bourbon, and Basil Hayden's. And today, instead of doing the Knob Creek Bourbon, you got some of the Knob Creek Rye. Now, when you go back to a lot of the classic cocktails and some of America's first cocktails and those first iterations of cocktail books, you're going to see a lot of those recipes call for rye whiskey. So before we started making a lot of bourbon down in Kentucky, up in the Northeast, Pennsylvania, Maryland, a lot of those early farmer distillers and settlers were using predominantly rye. That's the grain we had available to us. So with a rye whiskey like a Knob Creek Rye, as opposed to being majority corn going into your mash bill, you need to be legally at least 51% rye. We do have a bit of corn in that mash bill to back up that rye, add a little bit of sweetness to it. Rye, for the most part, you can get a little bit drier, maybe a little bit peppery, maybe a little bit of spice to it. You can also get some really cool floral notes. And so when you're getting into the cocktail world, I love leaning into some of these rye whiskeys, especially something like a Knob Creek, 100 proof. So if you're gonna stir it, shake it, throw bitters, vermouths, citruses at it, you still know you're getting a proper rye whiskey cocktail, again with that higher proof. For me, like the holiday serve, when it gets into the colder months, I'm a big Manhattan drinker. 2 parts Knob Creek Rye, 1/4 part sweet vermouth, throw a few dashes of Angostura bitters. If you get some Reagan's orange bitters, I like to throw a dash of Reagan's orange in there as well. Up to you if you like serving it on the rocks or up in a proper Manhattan glass. There's no wrong answer to it. It's however you like it. Sometimes I actually go a little bit heavier on the vermouth if it's a little bit colder out. But again, having 100 proof rye whiskey like that, it will stand up to it. And then the last product that you got in there is our On the Rocks Knob Creek Old Fashioned. And this is a really cool new project that we've been working on with the On the Rocks crew. They've been using some of our bourbons and some of our other brands to actually just do, ready to drink cocktails. That team has done an awesome job of getting the work done for you. You know what I mean? So just crack that bottle open, get some ice cubes if you want to get a garnish on there, maybe get an orange peel to spice it up a little bit. But that's ready to go. So that's an easy one. You can't mess that one up. But thank you again for picking up this package. We hope you enjoy it. And any questions, comments, or concerns, you can check out our websites, whether it's at the Jim Beam website, the Knob Creek website. We got plenty of cocktail recommendations, plenty of recipes, and a lot of information for you to learn about. So thanks again. Stay safe out there. And I hope next time we're doing this face to face, because doing it alone in a hotel room it's a little weird. But cheers. Happy holidays.